यार अब काम नहीं हो रहा,
क्यों, क्या हुआ?
भूख लग रही है।
ये सही है यार।
ये सही है।
चल मैं निकलता हूँ, ठीक है?
इतनी जल्दी कहाँ जा रहा है?
डेट पे जा रहा हूँ यार, गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ।
तेरे चक्कर में मुझे भी नोटिफिकेशन आ रहे हैं। दिल से बुरा लगता है भाई।
Well, this is actually called targeted advertising. The company we're going to talk about today works in this domain. And you'll be surprised to know that this company actually works with the best. If you've seen advertisements of Amazon or GoIbibo or Z or Spotify, that's a pretty good list. Book My Show or even Flipkart or PhonePe. And you'll be surprised to know that all these companies are clients of this one technology company. So what's that company? If you've already guessed, pause the video, put it in the comments below. Otherwise, let's get started. The name of the company we're going to analyze today is Affel India. Now, Affel India listed in 2019 and the IPO was oversubscribed by 86 times. Not only that, the stock price went from 745 to 5,300 in about 2 years. And then, of course, they did a stock split. So enough about the price of the stock. Let's understand what the hell does this company do. Affel describes itself as a global technology company that serves proprietary consumer intelligence. Basically, they're tracking users to be able to deliver them the right product ad at the right time. Their business is divided into two parts: consumer, where they're targeting users and trying to get conversions, trying to get people to look at products and purchase. And second is their enterprise business. But the good news is the enterprise business is only 1%, consumer is 99%. Now, what does the consumer entail? So within consumer, you have new user conversion, you have existing, this is also called retargeting, and then you have the online to offline conversion. Let me explain. In the new user conversion, companies such as Swiggy, etc., are trying to acquire a new user via showing an ad. Over here, this is called retargeting as well. This is when someone already knows about the brand, like say Myntra, but Myntra wants them to buy a new collection or see something else and retarget that user for a conversion. Usually these campaigns cost a lot less because the audience is known. This is more of a discovery wala campaign. And finally, we have campaigns such as this, where they're using online mediums to increase store walk-ins. So I'll write that, store walk-ins. So this is a good example where Bewakoof, which is an offline store, is trying to get people to come to their store and transact, visit their store. The enterprise business, which is 1% of their business, is basically helping businesses go from offline to online. Now, this could be getting them data, helping them in analytics, or even creating an app for them. The client list of Affel is also star-studded and interesting. So if you see here, you can see e-commerce has Amazon, Flipkart, and a whole lot of more. Entertainment has Book My Show, Wink. You can see EdTech has InShorts. That's weird. Isn't that a news app? Well, anyway, food tech, there's McDonald's. You can see gaming, Backflip Studios, Tencent, and the list goes on. So I guess they have a good network on where they're actually working with, who they're working with. Let's look at another part of the business, which is what is their business and what's the unique offering. So they work on a revenue model called the CPCU model, which is the cost per converted user model. Now, on the internet, many people can browse, hit the close button, look at this, exit, click, look at the landing page, and not even want the product, right? But the way that Affel works is that until a purchase is made, they do not charge the end consumer, which is the B2B business they're working with. Now, this makes a win-win situation for everyone because it's showing relevant stuff to its traffic. So this incentivized model only on conversions obviously sounds really interesting. Now let's talk about the strength, right? The biggest strength is that they're an asset-light model. I mean, it's a bunch of software code built by a bunch of developers. So the main cost is salary. They don't need to buy inventory. They don't need to send a delivery boy. They don't need Actually, the only thing they need is an AC in the office and some food. Because if they can pay and keep their employees, the business will run. At the end of the day, it is software as a service and humans working as a service, which is always high margin if you have enough clients. Just like TCS or Infosys, this is also a service model. If you can also see that all the computing infrastructure is done in-house, so I guess you have some IPR edge over here and data ownership edge over here. 35% revenues from India, 65% is global. I love that. When you see money coming in from multiple countries, it means that their business is sort of diversified, and that's a good thing. You know what the best thing about the company is? Wait, let's just wait for the best part, the balance sheet and profit and loss. I'll get to that in a bit. You can see that the sales growth is 63% CAGR. This is really good, okay? This means that it's able to grow at a high pace. You can see that operating margins are 20 to 25%. That's a really good margin. 20-25% is really nice. ROE and ROC, I love this. It basically measures if that company was an asset, and it is an asset, and it has to deliver a return on its own, then ROE and ROC can give us that number. It's 28%. Many people say if you want to know how much can a stock give you, you can just look at its ROE and get an indication, because that's how much it's growing. So 28% is high. And when I say high, anything above 15% is considered good. The growth of the operating cash flows is 62%. That's also considered good. The debt is almost zero. It's 0.13. It's almost non-existent. Very nice. They shouldn't be taking debt. There's no factory. There's nothing they have to get up. वो laptop लेने के लिए loan लेंगे क्या? So ठीक है. There's no debt. Now, FIIs are increasing their stake in the company. Generally, this is considered a good thing as well. Purely from a finance point of view, this company has big clients, lot of scale due to technology, and the costs are fixed in nature. The best high margin businesses are where the variable cost of scaling is zero or very, very low. And that's exactly what Affel is. That's why they produce a profit. If you look at a company like, say, Zomato, even if they scale, for every delivery they do, there is a variable cost, right? There is a cost of delivery, there's petrol, there's a boy who actually brings it to you, etc. That's why making that profitable is far more difficult than here, where the variable cost is almost zero. So what's the road ahead for Affel? I think two things were interesting. The first one was focusing on vernacular. Now, you need to ask yourself, आपको क्या लगता है? Will India move beyond English and Hindi? Will the next wave of internet consumers be non-English, non-Hindi speakers? I think the writing's on the wall, and it's inevitability. We know at some point this is going to happen, and most of the users, I think, are going to be vernacular in the future and not Hindi or English. And these guys are actually focusing on that. They're also looking into partnerships with all OEMs. OEMs are basically device manufacturers. So they work with smart TV manufacturers, mobile phone manufacturers, tablet manufacturers, and try to get access to a larger audience by installing their app on their devices. What do you think about that, though? Do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing for society in general? And what do you think about that from an investor's point of view? Put it in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys also think. Their aim is also to reach 10 billion devices. Now, there are two ways to do that. Either ask people to install an app, or just become pre-installed in their phone or an app that they already use. I think that's awesome, because instead of getting people to download a brand new app and creating crazy ads like Cred tries to do, you can actually just be there where they already are. So I think that's very smart. So now we've talked about all the good things, but what about the risks and threats? I want everyone to participate in this. Please put it in the comments after you've heard me talk. So the first is global competition. Dude, they're competing with Google and Facebook. Now, on the good side, it's a very large market and they need competition, so these guys are there. On the bad side, dude, it's Google and Facebook. I mean, they have all the data, all the users. You're probably watching this on a Google or Facebook product. So, I mean, how will they actually compete? Or will they be bought out in the future? You decide. The next threat is tech. And I mean tech, but hear me out. I know everyone says, tech bahut important hai. But the truth is, tech is one of the easiest things to create today. Every time you hear someone saying, we're a tech platform, anyone can create tech. What you can't create is supply-demand businesses where you have enough people on both sides. These are platform businesses. They seem to have an edge there. But tech also changes. I think one thing that could be very risky are privacy laws. Think about it. Imagine a new law comes out where you're not allowed to do this kind of stuff, collect user data on any app. That one law could put this entire business in a risk, especially in a place like Europe. If you look at Affel's website, you'll see that they talk a lot about data privacy, etc. And I'm sure they do a very good job on the data side. But this is a risk that you as an investor should know. One law and around data privacy can actually put this company in big trouble. And then finally, you have valuations. Dude, it's trading at 80 PE. Dude, it's trading at a price to earnings of 80. That's a very high multiple. I think the way that they justify it is the speed of the sales, that the revenue growth that they have, and the high ROC. Remember, good companies always have high PE. It's just a rule, right? It's how it is. I mean, recently the iPhone came out. It was expensive. It's just how the world works. Good stuff is usually expensive. So these are the risks and threats. If I missed something, please put in the comments below. And we worked really hard. Siddharth, Vasant did a fantastic job over here in research, and we have Vikas Bhai and the entire team actually doing the production. So please write something to them as well. I'll see you in the next video.